Their purpose was to figure out how to assess if a company's stock could be considered Sharia compliant, even if it had some, let's say, minor imperfections.
So the source gets into the details of these standards. It mentions that while different groups might have slightly different numbers or ways of calculating things, they generally focus on three main areas. What's the first most basic rule?
The absolute first check, the one you can't compromise on, is the company's core business. The primary purpose and activity must be permissible Garar wa Nashat al-Sharika al-Asli Muhan. Meaning, if a company's main gig is, say, making alcohol or running a conventional interest-based bank or operating casinos, its stock is immediately out. Impermissible.
Makes sense.
The source actually links this to a Quranic verse about cooperating in righteousness and piety al-bir wal taqwa. And some standards even go a step further, requiring a check that if the company's official charter lists any forbidden activities, those activities must be effectively inactive or disabled, tatil hatihi al-agrat.
Okay, so rule one. The main engine of the company has to be clean. Once you've cleared that, what's the next thing these standards look at?
They shift focus to the company's financials, specifically its assets and debts. The general rule here is that the majority of the company's assets and debts must be permissible. Aghlab amwal al-sharika wa duyunuha mubahan.
The majority.
Yes. This uses a key principle from Islamic jurisprudence, al-hukm lil ghalib.
Which means?
The ruling follows the predominant. So if the bulk of the assets and debts are okay by Sharia standards, the overall status can lean towards permissible. It allows for, small amounts of impermissible stuff within the finances.
And this majority part, this is where we start seeing differences between the various standards, isn't it? How they actually measure that majority.
Exactly. This is a key area of variation, the source points out. The standards can differ quite a bit on what exactly they measure, like for debt, do they only look at interest-bearing loans or all kinds of debt, and also how they measure it.
How so?
Some compare the impermissible portion assets or debt against the company's stock market value. Others use the company's total assets as the benchmark. And some even use whichever is larger market value or total assets.
Why the difference between using market value and total assets? Is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, the source touches on this. It relates to slightly different views on what a share fundamentally represents. One perspective sees a share mainly as a stake in the company's net assets or its equity. So comparing to market value or book value might seem more logical from that angle.
Okay.
Another perspective might view the share as representing a piece of the company's total assets. So the choice of denominator market value, total assets, kind of reflects these different technical ways of thinking about what share ownership actually means.
Interesting. Okay, so check the core business. Check that the majority of assets and debts are permissible. What's the third main screening criterion?